I think most people would agree rock on the inside of a home is kind of a warm and cozy feeling, and if it's done right, it looks pretty good. This home has a floor-to-ceiling rock wall built out with a fireplace and a solid beam for the mantle. It just works in this space. But over here, they extended the rock onto the stairwell wall, and honestly, it's way too much and it overtakes the whole space. So today we're turning this not so great idea into a great idea. What the owner has planned for this wall is more of a modern design. This is the picture she sent us, so we're going to try and replicate this as close as possible. Now my hope for the demo here is whoever originally installed this product shortcutted the process by using a PL adhesive instead of a thin set product. I really won't be able to tell until we get all these rough timbers off. Yeah, it looks like it's just glued on. You thought there'd be some nails in there. Nice big chunk of wood though. Prying this wood up, it looks like it was glued with a PL product. So hopefully that's a good sign that just maybe they used it to apply the rocks as well. I mean, either way, we're still gonna have to remove the drywall and reboard over the framing, but the rock will pop off easier if a PL product was used. Wow, that was just all glued. We should be able to scrape the rest of that off. Looks like they did use a PL Premium to glue this cultured stone on, which makes our job a whole lot easier. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And even though I did chalk this one up as a win, I soon remembered good can't exist without some bad. We broke down at the dump and sat there for the rest of the day waiting for a tow truck. One thing that's kind of interesting is they've got a 1/2-inch piece of plywood against the drywall, which pushes the baseboard out to flush up with the rock a little bit better. We're going to end up replacing all of the woodwork and the drywall, so won't be an issue, but I just thought that was kind of interesting how they bumped out that MDF baseboard. We seem to get some kind of damage doing demo. Here, I'll take this bucket down, dump it. It's not bad. You sure? Yeah, I'm good. Didn't think I'd need a mask for this job, but there's some kind of fine dust coming off this. It's making me cough. Ah. We don't have any masks, eh? Nope. Baseboard and the plywood at the same time. It looks like it was all just brad nailed on. And now we can just start taking off that drywall. Nothing has been taped, so we'll just unscrew all these screws and pull off the drywall. Okay, now that we're done with the BS work, we can start having some fun. Our wall is 11 feet long, 42 inches high with about a 10-inch wraparound on the one side. One sheet of 12-foot drywall should do the trick for this wall, and we're just going to use 1 1/4 drywall screws to secure it to the studs. Go right to your edge. When we're adding a new design into an old space, matching the current design is really important to make the new feature feel as original as possible, like it's always been there. In other words, you don't want something added on that sticks out like a sore thumb. Good one. And to accomplish this, we always try to match any woodwork or paint colors, fixtures, that type of thing. In this home, we've got 3 different size moldings to try to match, and of course, in our town, they didn't have any of them. What we ended up doing was buying larger sizes and ripping them down on the table saw. The baseboard was 5/8 of an inch thick and had to be ripped down to 4.5 inches wide. The trim out moldings needed to be a 1/2 inch thick by 2.5 inches wide. And finally, the top cap needed to be a 1/2 inch thick by 6 inches wide. It costs a bit more for the larger material, but it only makes sense to spend the extra and do it the right way. Okay, so that should be good, and then we got a full 6-inch cap to go on the entire 11 feet and then kick back a foot, right?
Yes.
So based off the picture that we were sent by the customer, we're going to try to follow that as close as possible. We're going to cap the top of this and then 45 at that corner and then kick back, and then we can trim out the inside of the wall. I think we're good there. This wall's a bit crooked, but we can caulk the inside edge of that. I think we'll be okay though.
Well, you could probably just trim it down a bit.
What, trim this one down?
Both of them.
This one and the front one?
Yes.
Actually, I don't think I can, because where's that 5/8 baseboard? So we're trying to match baseboard to what's in here already. That's why we went that wide on the top and front cap, so that we could bring our 5/8 baseboard into it. That gives us a 1/16 of a reveal right there that we can caulk and match the rest of the house, right? And then that there, another one down there, and then our middle pieces. Once it's all painted, it'll look good. I've got to get these two on before I can find center of this. We're gonna have to cut those 2 corner pieces and then put a miter on them with the table saw. All right, so all we did on these ones, just run a miter down each of the vertical pieces, and then they'll miter together, glue on the miter, and that'll finish that corner off nice. So we're 126 3/4 divided by 2. Quick, what's the math? 126 3/4 divided by 2. It's 126.75 divided by 2 equals 63.375, which works out to 63 3/8, I believe. Just to double check, 63 3/8. 63 3/8, bang on. So that's our center line. All right, so this is our outside line on the right, and then we'll be 1.25 inches on this side as well, but we don't need that. Now we want to find center of these two openings. So we're at 63 3/8. Again, divided by 2. Now we're getting into some real maths. 63.375 divided by 2. Now we're at 31.6875, which is probably close to 31 5/8. And we'll do 31 5/8 on the other side. And I always like to put a C on my center line. That way there's no confusion. Looks like we're hitting stud on this one, and the last one we're gonna miss it by about 3 inches. And this one measures out again at 29 3/8. Here we're adding the same 2.5 inch trim to finish off the inside of the stairwell. So I'm trying to put as many of the raw edges, because I did rip some of these boards, to get them to the right width. So any with rough edges from our table saw, I'm trying to hide in corners and butting up with each other. It just makes it a little easier to finish. Now we won't be actually doing the finish on this, we'll be doing a primer coat, and then we're leaving it for the homeowner to tackle. What she's doing is an antique finish in I believe a satin, more on the tone of what her kitchen is. So the next thing for us is to fill all these holes, caulk all the lines, get it prepped and ready for a final sand, and then primer. So I'm just using a product called Drydex. It's just a fast drying filler. It goes on pink, dries white. I always put 2 coats of this on, so I'll put this coat on now, and then we'll sand again and put 1 more coat, and then we'll do a primer coat on top of that, and then it'll be ready for finish coat of paint. Okay, after the first coat of primer, I always like to give it 1 more block sand, another coat of primer, and then we can hand it over to her, and then she'll put whatever color she wants on it. For the final coat, I've got 2 rollers going. I still have my small one for the woodwork. I've got a larger one to do the wall now, and then the brush, and I'm just gonna work them all together to make sure there's no lines left on the surfaces. So quickly just paint out the edges again. You gotta be pretty quick here, just so you don't end up with any lines. And I'm gonna do the woodwork first because that seems to dry a little quicker. This was kind of a different project for us. I think it turned out great. We did have a lot of fun building it, and other than having to replace the starter on my truck and paying for a tow truck that first day, I'd say it was a success. Anyways, thanks for watching. Comment below, let us know your thoughts. Did you like the rock wall, or do you like the new modern look? Hope you all have a blessed week, and we'll see you on the next one.